Brothers, welcome back to DummyNation. Today we're going to be playing as the most upvoted country from the last video, which was South Korea. Now, South Korea starts off as an easy country just because of our GDP being very high. We're already the 12th best GDP, 29th in population, 33 in GDP per capita, 5th in military power, and 5th in military defense. We do have a lovely little military for ourselves. Now, the only thing that we could do to make this better is obviously go after and attacking our GDP per capita and population. GDP is not going to be a big concern of ours to start off with. Now, we are a democracy, and we're going to go ahead and lower military service, apply that. I'd also like to take a quick look. We are almost friends with the United States, but not technically friends with the United States. We could buy a cheap alliance with China and have that. That might be worthwhile to do. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that, just to get our economy a little bit higher up. Exchange rate is fine. Speaking of economy, while we're here, let's go ahead and adjust the social spending down. Ooh, we'll bring it like right there. R&D, we're going to bring up military spending. We'll bring up and liquidity, bring up. Ooh, that's a little bit tough. I think that's fine. I'd like to get to 2%. Yeah, 2% seems good growth-wise. Military service is down, correct, good. Let's go ahead, and since we are such an advanced GDP country, I think it might be worthwhile going into military and getting drones. Now, we need 15 points for that, so I believe we can buy this and then get the 15. Oh, we needed 27 points. Ah, okay, you got me there. We'll get robotics at the very least. I'm not too concerned about drones. If we can get another, nope, we can't quite afford another level discount. So what we will do is we will invest in a order of tanks, and then an order of drones, and then honestly, I think we get another order of tanks, and then we get some rocket artillery just for that little bit extra firepower there. We could also potentially get some planes, but you know what, let's get a little bit of planes to start off with there. Let's also go ahead and start producing, because we are at the rare chance of being able, you know, in the top 20 is a great mark to be in for producing. So we can start right there, start production, and then let's take our army and look for a good target. I'm looking at Papua New Guinea in terms of population, and honestly, I think we take our army down there. We'll try and stay in mostly Eastern Asia, just for kind of role play. No need to go to Africa when we have great targets that are very similar in Papua New Guinea. So let's head down straight to Papua New Guinea and get this started. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. They do not have much more than a militia to kind of stand in our way, so being the first over here does mean we will get a big chunk of their population, which will help us out in terms of kind of our overarching cost and replacing our soldiers. I believe our army's big enough to go ahead and split, so let's go ahead and do that. A little bit of dividing and conquering. They did assemble a military, but it was just gunners, so it really shouldn't do much. Our reservists are actually doing a little bit of work for themselves, jumping into this fight, so nice to have some military power right off the bat. It's been a while since we've had any country that's even had a semblance of military power, and we have a lot more on the way. So these targets are nice to get down right now, but we'll definitely get better as we continue onwards. Okay, lovely for us. We are done here. Unfortunately, Brunei is taken, but I would like to jump in and potentially grab Myanmar if China's going to fight that. Maybe Cambodia, but Myanmar is a little bit better of a prize as the 29th best population, where Cambodia is 72. So there could be a little bit more of a fight, but maybe we jump in here to Cambodia, who's a little bit on the easier side, and wait for China to exhaust Myanmar's military. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's start a war with Cambodia. China's also over here, but we have the advantage on troops, which means we'll get the advantage on the expansion, and we should grab all of Cambodia. Lovely, and that is Cambodia done. How is Myanmar looking? Still relatively strong. We do have our military kind of still in production. The drones will take a while. We do have another. Ooh, we could potentially invade North Korea, who's China's already attacked, so I definitely think we should go home and finish up the Korean peninsula for ourselves. That seems like a lovely little target. They don't have a tremendous amount of population or really anything worthwhile. If it wasn't also a Korea, I don't think I'd go for it, but they are our neighbor and we should grab them. So let's go ahead and finish up North Korea here. Russia has declared war on us, but they're pretty easy to buy off, and that should be the swan song for North Korea as we quickly kind of roll through them. Freaking Netherlands is over here, though. A bunch of people are over here. I hate that. At least we got everything. That's good. A lot of people were coming over to feast, but we were able to hold them off. Myanmar still holding strong with their military. Bangladesh would also be a potential target, but not for right now. Definitely want to make sure that as we kind of do these attacks, we're rolling through people. We're never contending in early battles. We want to only fight people that we have a strong advantage over and never really pick a fair fight. North Korea is extremely low GDP per capita. True. So with that opening salvo of moves, we have stayed where our GDP is, but population's gone up to 18th and GDP per capita has fallen to 50, which is fantastic. I do think this is kind of the moment we need to move our military over to Myanmar, as it looks like China is threatening them, and they're down to 3 million. I was kind of hoping I could wait for a few more of my troops, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I want to be able to jump in here at the right moment, so we'll at least park our military over by Myanmar. Not exactly going to commit to going into them quite yet. We'll see if China wants to drop another attack in before we do, but we want to be in position if that does happen. All right, that's Myanmar's army decimated, so let's go ahead and launch an attack in here. They're down to 1 million troops, and I think that's kind of the mark that we need to jump in on so that we don't get left behind. They do have a little bit of reservists, but nothing too substantial. China's army is also standing by, firing at their capital, so we might not grab all of Myanmar, but we will have an easier fight because China's armies are here. All right, and that is Myanmar done. So we end up being the 14th biggest population. GDP per capita has gone further down in the right direction. Iran has fallen. Let's just take a look at the board, make sure we're not missing anything major like Turkey, I don't know, taking over France. What happened over here? My goodness, the Europeans have really kind of gone wild. I want to see how many friends both you and Italy have, as both you should be on a little bit of the weaker side. Yeah, lots of friends all around, unfortunately. So that looks like kind of the end of our road there. Let's go home, continue finishing up the recruiting the rest of our troops. We'll start with our production again. We should be able to... Ooh, it's a little bit more expensive now. Lower these a little bit. But we'll look for a good target to kind of take advantage of. Like Saudi Arabia would be fantastic. It is a part of the gigantic alliance in North Africa, but we should be fine for that. Let's go ahead and grab everyone, and let's just head over there as we'll start production on our troops. Saudi Arabia will add a nice little chunk of change to our GDP, as they're the 18th best and pretty easy target right now, so hopefully we can get over there in time. Alrighty, we are now over here. Let's go ahead and fight down Saudi Arabia, who has attacked Bahrain and Qatar. So I don't know how much of the Arab League will jump to Saudi Arabia's defense. Jordan has, Algeria has, Kuwait has. Let's knock Jordan and Algeria especially out of this fight. I will fight Kuwait because I do kind of want to knock them down. And anybody else join in? Nope, that's it. Just those two. So we should be able to kind of roll through South Korea, or excuse me, Saudi Arabia here, as we just have a substantial amount of troops. How is our ammunition shortage? Very good. Let's go ahead and split this army. I do think we're a little bit small to be splitting, but I do kind of want to get off to a good start here. Let's also go ahead and buy another giant group of tanks very quickly for ourselves, and Saudi Arabia will be a nice feather in our cap. Okay, we did peace out with Egypt. They're about to die, which is unfortunate. We can go into Kuwait though, which should be a nice kind of, again, feather in our cap. So let's go ahead and do that. Since we have peaced out with so much of the Arab world, we'll go ahead and launch a war on Kuwait, hopefully get them down quickly, and maybe go into Iraq. Yeah, Iraq would actually probably be a good one as soon as we get the rest of our military power over here. How's India doing? They're pretty big, okay. So not exactly a great target, and Brazil is also very strong. So we're going to run out a little bit of options. We might need to take a reprieve in terms of kind of moving forward. Although the United States is fighting. Looks like they were fighting over there. Indonesia could be a potential for us. But we have, in fact, finished down Kuwait. So let's go ahead and go into Iraq next. Okay, let's go ahead and buy some more tanks. How's the piercing looking? It's going okay. Oh, wait. Since we're producing... We have drones. We should produce drones since they're so much cheaper instead of gunners. That'll save us a little bit of money and manpower. I think that'll be a worthwhile endeavor, especially as drones are cheaper to replace, especially as we're fighting in Iraq right now. It's kind of taking a lot of toll on us, and we want to be able to finish this up and potentially jump over here to Iran and grab the rest of that. Okay, so we finished Iraq. Let's go ahead and fight down Iran just to get the little last remnants of that. We do have a little military over here. See if we can bring them around and link up. Once we finish with Iran, though, I think I said Iraq. Once we finish with Iran, we will probably need to take a little bit of a break and just casually build up our military. We're already in a great position. 7 and 9 is wonderful. We just need the military power to... Wow, we're the first in military power. That's a little bit shocking here, as I didn't think we had that strong of a military. China, have you just fallen off? I mean, China's got 31 million. I don't think we have the strongest military, maybe in terms of overall manpower, but I don't really agree with that. United States, how are you doing? Yeah, you're strong too, so I don't know how we're counted as the number one here, but we'll just ignore that and go back and save up. All right, we are done with Iran as much as we can be, so let's go home, start building up some troops. Check out our production tab. How is that looking? 42% is lovely. So we will build up military, look for a little bit bigger of a target to go after. Taiwan would obviously be very good. Indonesia is, Indonesia's a target right now. Never mind, we're going to get back. We're going to build troops. We're going to get more tanks once again. We're going after Indonesia right now. Checking out their friends. They have no friends. We just need to get through the mountains of China, link up with our army, and we are definitely going after Indonesia. Indonesia is a great target right now. 13 and 4. Troops-wise, nothing. 2 million firepower. Reservists a little bit stronger, but not enough that we would avoid doing it. Dear God, this could not be the fastest path going through the Tibetan steppe here. And this. I mean, goodness gracious. Speed of the game. I'm tired of waiting. There we go. All right, troops are home. Let's go after Indonesia. Jesus Christ, go through the ocean. It's so much faster. All right, so we're going to go after Kuala Lumpur and their Malaysia holdings first, just to kind of set the stage and fight over land that is not necessarily their capital. Kind of get warmed up on and see what kind of damage we can do. We've basically decimated their army already. They do have, that's the remnants coming in right now, but it has quickly been dispelled. So as soon as we kind of work through the rest of their reservists, we'll start to split up here a little bit. In fact, we could probably do that now. Let's get over to here and start working on this island and just kind of cruise through Indonesia. Now, we do have a small amount of army being built in the background. Not a ton, though, so we'll take some time. But this is going to be a very beneficial invasion for us. A little bit of a side detour we're going to take. Singapore is very weak right now, so we're just going to go ahead and take this island. Go ahead and go after them really quickly, take down them, and then re-up with Indonesia. There we go. Singapore is done. And now we can continue onwards in grabbing the rest of Indonesia. Okay, so we have finished up with Indonesia. It was a little bit of a feeding frenzy here, but something that interesting has popped up. Japan has been very aggressive and has weakened themselves. Now, in terms of their friends, they are friends with the United States, who is unattainable on us getting a friendship. We still are friended up with China. It would be interesting to see if we could take Japan, because right now we are 3 and 4, so we don't have a ton of room to go up. But Japan is a very, very tempting target, and in fact, I think we jump in on this and see what the United States does. So let's jump over and fight Japan. Now, in terms of reservists, they don't have a ton either, so this should not be the worst fight we've ever taken in our lives. We'll wait for the United States to get involved and see what we need to do on that front. We have started to take land. The United States has not declared war on us, which is lovely. We might be able to get away with this. Let's go ahead and split once again and just start working through Japan. Very, very profitable country here. Ooh, you know what we should do? Let's go ahead and get a level of reactive armor for ourselves. Increase the defensive capabilities of our armor as we're starting to approach quickly the end game here, as we are a very respectable 3 and 4 after kind of eliminating Japan. I believe that's all the land we can get. So let's go ahead and send everybody home for the time being. Not really concerned about grabbing any more scraps. And now we need to look for a big target like Russia is exactly who we need. Let's go ahead, buy more tanks, and get ready to fight Russia. All right, so Russia is falling. We are going to want to get involved in that. I think the quickest path for us to get involved is to go through Iran. Hey, can you go the fastest way, which I know is not through China. It's not through China, I promise you. Let's avoid the Tibetan steppe. Let's just go right there. And let's try and invade Russia. If we get here, we can invade through the Caspian Sea, I think this is. And kind of try and move up to the more economical zones of Russia. But it is unfortunate we're on the other side of the world. We could attack Russia over here. The only problem is there's really not any economy for Russia over here. It's mostly in the west. So we do need to huff it on over to the other side, although it looks like we're about to get cut off by India. Oh, no! Tibetan Plateau, Tibetan's not steppe. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the plateau. I don't know why I'm saying steppe. Oh, it is annoying to miss out on Russia this much, but there still is enough to gain to make it worthwhile. Okay, let's go ahead and fight down Russia. Prestige fell because we had an alliance with them. No! Dang it. Oh, well, let's go. See if we can get out of the Arctic Circle and down south. Get out of there, kid. And we'll turn on the economy map for Russia just to see, make sure we're kind of hitting where we need to. We'll go ahead and split our army as well so we can kind of hopscotch our way down there, leapfrog, if you will. Dang, we are just running into every Russian army that's ever existed, huh? We're like the Battle of Stalingrad, but the entire Russian economy. You could have gotten Moscow. I think it's still on the table. It's right there. Yeah, we can still get Moscow. I think Finland's going to grab it. Hey, we grab a little bit of Moscow, at least half the city. We're about to, I should say. This is just a reservist. Someone asked how you can tell the difference between reservists and armies. Basically, the difference is the cap. You can see that this is wearing like a hat and this is like a different hat. So that's kind of how you can tell. Let's check our production. We can definitely ramp this up here a little bit. Let's get more commandos and more drones. Not so much worried about reservists for right now. And life is going pretty well. We'll just kind of cruise through the rest of Russia as much as we can. Hold on, new plan. Let's go ahead and finish up Russia here. I'm not too concerned with grabbing the east, to be honest with you. I just want to grab this section, and I think I want to go home and get ready for a fight with a weakened India. That would be very nice kind of feather in our cap to grab. So I think we want to go home and prepare for that. Let's grab everyone, go home. We have a big military ready already. And I think we can probably do this attack. Now, checking out India's friends, they do have friendships with Bolivia, Austria, the Czech Republic, Spain, Lithuania, and South Africa. So a number of countries that we're going to need to buy off, but I do think it's affordable and attainable. Now, in terms of their reservists, they do have 19 million reservists, so I do think, you know, we're going in there with a lot of troops, but at the same mark, I think that's about as many as we're going to need. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more tanks in there before we jump in, but India is going to be a real good one for us to get. Ooh, so on the reverse side of things, here's an interesting one. India's got 10 million troops, but 20 million reservists, and I'm looking at firepower. China has kind of the reverse, 17 million troops, but their reservists are nil. China only is friends with Australia, excuse me. I think it is worth jumping into China. So I think we need to do that. Let's just check our bonuses. Yeah, ammunition shortage is in a good spot. I think we got to go into China. Let's go ahead and find a good economic zone to jump into. And I think I want to go down here into this bay. Let's get ready to fight China. Prestige fell again. We had an alliance with them. Who cares about alliances at this point? We're going ham for the win. And we'll engage China's military. Now, the great thing about fighting a military is it doesn't usually come all at once. It'll piecemeal itself in. So we should be expecting China's military to come. There's Australia. We'd love to peace out with them just to not have to fight double the action. We can't peace out with Australia, so that's another 8 million that's going to come in and fight us, unfortunately. But China's a worthwhile endeavor to grab. And we have knocked down their military in half. So that should be the end of it rather quickly. And once it's through, we can really split and go. We do have to be a little bit cautious about Australia's armies coming in, so we can't split too much. But I do think this is warranted to split at least once and get some separation here and start working down the rest of China. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and get another level of reactive armor just to protect our tanks and everything, make them a little bit more durable. As we just quickly blitz through China now, taking a look at the board, China has 36%, the United States has 69%. So there is a potential that we jump into China and then the United States, although the United States will be a very tough nut to crack. In fact, we are at war with them. I wonder why. They're not actively fighting us against China, so we might have declared war, maybe like Russia. They were allied to Russia or something, but we're not going to worry about that for the time being. We're just going to go straight into China, and then we'll worry about the United States. If anything, we need to be worried about the United States because they're already at 71%. Ooh, if they get like a European country, they could be real trouble for us. As we have mostly blocked, it would be almost impossible for any other country to get involved at this point. We just need to get this last section, and then we completely block everyone but India, and then Vietnam, Thailand, and United Kingdom. But they'll be involved at the top. These countries would be involved in the top when all the economies at the bottom. So we're doing a good job blocking anyone else from getting involved. And once we have the full economical weight of China behind us, we're going to be just steamrolling. All right, let's take this group down here, start working through this, get some tanks. Oh, good. We finally reached the point where we can get a lot more production. Let's ramp these two up especially. And that's 100%, so that would be very good for us. A lot of drones, a lot of commandos coming in to the fight, and we're just making a ton of money, which is good because we're going to need to ramp up our military if we're going to want to fight the United States, which we absolutely have to at this point. They're at 72%. So right when we finish with China, we're going to need to just, you know, as quickly as possible prepare for the war with the United States to make sure that they don't run away with it and we can still win this. All right, so status update. We've just brought in our third army into China. Now kind of getting into the harder parts and less economically beneficial parts. In fact, can I get you over here just to finish this up? I hate the fact that this guy's just taking a little bit of land away from me. You didn't have to walk through their country, but that's on me for having this bar all the way set up. So that is going to be some unnecessary losses that you take there. Big ouchies. maybe we combine you with this group so that you're a little bit stronger again, and finish up this, and then we'll try and bring this army back in. How's the United States doing? Still at 74%. Australia has declared war on me. That is not anything new at this point. We have been at war with them for quite some time. The Netherlands is definitely new and maybe potentially not having to be. Nope, that is not possible. All right. Do I dare go fascist? It's been a long time since we went fascist. I think this is a great opportunity to get into fascism. Let's get some big money saved up for exploitation. Blitzkrieg will definitely help us out, as well as we don't have any friends and we're pretty close to the victory, so I don't think we need to make any new friends. Let's go ahead and go for the hard victory, and also let's change our flag. All right, we have a nice little eagle on our flag now. Should take effect here in a minute. It's right there. Yeah. Okay, it'll take effect here in a minute. So, but we're fascist now, which means the world's going to hate us, but we're definitely going to get a lot stronger because of it. Be able to recruit troops faster and then take land faster is going to be a big bonus for us. 90% of China's economy is on the East Coast. Yeah, this is kind of the last little chunk of it is right here. There's a little bit more over here, but this is kind of the last of it. Now, China, what are you at now? Still 12th in GDP, so they still have a lot of good things. And it's mostly here, so I think it's worthwhile still continuing this fight. You know what? I'm just going to keep this army together for now because we're getting a large chunk of like Italian and Polish armies coming to fight us, and I'd rather not take too many attritional losses here, as we just need to finish up the last little bit of China. We're building another army over here, so we're not exactly running out, but we're waiting for that exploitation to be all the way up. You know what? We'll count that as all the way up. Let's go ahead and start recruiting some troops. We have $10 million to spend. Let's buy some 2 units of tanks, and then give me a gigantic unit of rocket artillery as well. That'll be a nice little addition to our overall size. And then from here, we'll just kind of use the time to build up troops here a little bit more. Finish up the rest of China. Although China, what is it really at? The 33 in GDP. It's really not worth fighting this anymore. Let's just go home. I don't suppose China's really going to be able to afford a military to fight us back, and I'm tired of taking these losses as we have not been able to grow the military just because so much of the world is fighting us. So a little bit of patience here will probably be a virtue, as we need to fight the United States, but they're close to 100 million, so need to be a little bit patient about that. Let's go ahead and get the last level of combat training, though. That'll help us out a lot. I would like to be able to pivot into war tactics, but we're nowhere near the research for that. Military intelligence will probably be the best that we can ask for, but I don't know if we'll get the research for that in time. How is our economy growing? 3.3% in comparison to the rest of the world is actually kind of lacking, so we might need to bring down military spending here a little bit. Liquidity can probably also take a little bit of a nosedive. Let's get the 3.6. That'll put us at least a little bit higher than the majority of the world. India and the United States are obviously going to grow faster than us, but I think for our military, that's where we want to be. In fact, let me change this up a little bit. Let me get back here. R&D can go down a little bit. Let's keep military up. Let's keep liquidity up. 3.5 sounds good. Alrighty. So we're a little bit shy of the United States Army. They have 100 million firepower and 70 million piercing. Most of it is in foot soldiers, though. Our army in comparison is about 90-90, so a little bit less. I think we're going to try and invade the United States just because they're already at 80%, and we only need 20% to win. So we're going to attack the United States with the idea being that they're not going to send their entire stack into us right away. We'll have to wait and see, though, if they do send that entire stack into us. It is one stack right now, so I don't know if they're going to split it. We might have to face it all down at once. We'll see. It's not an unrecoverable position if we lose this stack, but we'll definitely abandon the endeavor before we lose our entire army if it doesn't look like we're going to win a resounding victory. But we're going to pick a good area for terrain, which means that we need an area that is flat. Florida is always a great choice to invade for the United States to work down their army. So let's go ahead and get that going here as we invade Florida and wait for the United States Army. And there it is, an 85 million. Ooh, we knocked it down pretty quickly, but how much did we lose? We're 20 million left. The United States is completely out of the military. Brazil has declared war on us. We can buy them off, thank God. And now we can kind of invade the United States. We can split into 2 stacks of 10 million and try and get a little bit more of an advantage here, as we're already up 5% just from grabbing Florida. And if we can peace out with anybody along the way, we're definitely going to try. But for now, we just kind of push through the United States and hopefully get some reinforcements here from our production tab here very quickly. There's India declaring war on us. This is kind of the little bit of a danger. Where the hell? I wanted to see if India was over here. Can buy off India. That's very good news for us. All right, so status update. We're doing pretty well. These armies are maintaining their size decently at 8 million apiece. What is this army at? If we can get some tanks in it, we could probably bring another army into the fight. So let's go ahead and do that. We're doing pretty well. We're at 72% already just from capturing the East Coast. We did know that was going to be a big prize for us. Fortunately, we've been able to keep most people out of the fight as well. Australia, for whatever reason, is our mortal enemy. They will fight us in any battlefield that we ever choose. But nope, never mind. We can buy them off. Huge opportunity for us. I don't know why the world has suddenly turned so loving to us as we have invaded the United States. I guess they're not as popular as they used to be, but this is a great move for us, and we're pretty close to victory here as we're at 70%. Let's try and make sure that we're staying in the United States proper. Once this army is ready and we can invade the California side, we should be able to jump up even higher, and I think we have the victory right here. All right, here comes our third army, 90% on the board. Let's get our California holdings here. Bangladesh has also declared war on us. Can we buy off of Bangladesh? We can. That's very good for us. Here comes another United States army, but we're at 96%. Ooh, buddy, get up to San Francisco. That should be it. 98% right now. 99. There we go. South Korea dominates the world after 18.4K days. Probably not our leaderboard that we're looking for, but we can check it out here as we go to what is the country we're looking for? South Korea. Well, here it is. As we're 15, so nowhere near the top, but nor were we trying to do the most optimal way, but we did it pretty well all the same. But that's going to wrap things up here for today. So as we do start to wrap things up, just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, especially made this far in the video. If you have, oh, whoa, get back. If you have made this far in the video, hey, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe for more. But for now, boys, I'll see you in the next one.